Hey folks, Tim Miller here. And just when you think you've seen it all, you come across stuff that you just shake your head and you're like, that can't be for real. Unfortunately, in this case, it is for real. You've heard of the movie Dumb and Dumber, right? Well, watch the sequel.
Of Florida fathers face attempted murder charges after deputies say they opened fire during a violent road rage fight and ended up shooting each other's young daughters.
You're right, I'm doing the call. Nobody y'all did.
The explosive argument happened in the Jacksonville area on Saturday. Officials say tempers flared as the two men drove erratically around each other, both driving with their families. One of the men pulled out a handgun and tried to shoot out the other's tires, instead hitting a 14-year-old girl. The second father returned fire, striking the other's 5-year-old daughter. Both girls are expected to survive.
You can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. So let's get the picture. Two fathers with their families, children in the car, are driving down the interstate and they get into the little tiff or taff or you cut me off or whatever it is. And certainly we've all been there. There's a frustration point. But these two fools decide they're going to take it to a whole new level. And folks, I got to tell you, as I watch stuff like this, you probably can tell I'm amped up because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I was always taught you protected your family, you guarded your family, you made sure your family didn't go into harm's way. You don't lead them into harm's way, which is exactly what happened here. Two cars going down the road, they're going back and forth. Daddy and daddy are getting more excited. Why? I don't know. But then the brilliant decision comes out. You know what? I've got a handgun and I'm going to shoot the tires out on the other person's car. Now, folks, I'm going to stop for a second because I know I'm sounding very condescending. And quite frankly, this kind of stuff drives me insane. And what we're going to do is what we always do. We're going to talk about the before, the during, and the after an incident like this, hopefully, so we can learn some practical things that will help us avoid stupidity like this. And I do mean stupidity. Because, folks, when you think about this incident, let me just throw some things at you. The second those gunshots were fired, two precious young kids were hit by gunfire. Did you hear me? One smart guy decides he's so good with that handgun, he's going to shoot the tires out. Well, maybe other than things like ricocheting against a rubber tire at that speed, the tires are naturally going to be more resistant. Oh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea because it ricocheted and hit a child. Oh, but then the other guy, not to be outdone, decides he's going to pull his gun and fire into a moving vehicle occupied by children, striking one of them. Okay, I'm done my rant. Let's talk about some practical things we can take away from this because it's really important. You know, two things struck me beforehand. Remember, I'm always going to talk to you about proactive security. What are things we can do to make stuff like this not happen? That's kind of where we go every week. And when I'm talking to you about before the incident, during the incident, after the incident. Well, let's start with some basics before the incident. How about two M's that come to mind? The first is the mindset. Folks, when you decide, and you've heard this many times, that you're going to own a weapon, that's a lifetime commitment, not a one-time purchase, and it starts right here. The mindset of that weapon, in your mind, what it's for, is really important. It's not for playing tit for tat on an interstate. And oh, by the way, both of those dads now are charged with attempted murder. Hello. Maybe that wasn't so smart a move, but let's talk about mindset. Now, I got to tell you, I've carried a gun most of my life as a police officer, as a Marine, and as a Secret Service agent, federal agent. I've worked on drug task forces. I've carried a weapon pretty much all my adult life. But I want to tell you, my mindset has always been, as I holster it or as I break out the long gun for a search warrant, God, I hope I don't have to use this today. That's my mindset. But my mindset's also, if I have to use it today, I hope I'm real good. I like what Tim Larkin says about violence, that very rarely is violence the answer. But when it is, it's the only answer. And let me ask you a question. Did either one of these folks need to resort to violence in this case? No. It's because they had the wrong mindset. Quite frankly, I'm kind of glad both of them will never carry a gun legally in Florida again. Not after this. Their license will be taken away. People like this should not be carrying firearms. That's my opinion. But the mindset is important because here's the point. If you have a mindset of when you're willing to use a weapon, you're most likely going to follow that. And you're most likely going to constrain yourself when emotion and attitude and all this kind of stuff wants you to use it. So mindset's number one. And number two is mood. You know, road rage starts before you ever get in a car. It really starts the second you wake up in the morning. If you really think about life in general, if we wake up in the morning and just open our eyes and say to the good Lord, thank you for another day of life, that kind of paints a picture for the rest of our day. I hope that's something you think about. But the mood is really important because when the mindset and the mood are in order, we're not likely to do stupid, violent things. Now, there could be a lot of factors. I get it. You don't know everything that happened. I get it. But here's what I know. What happened is totally unacceptable. And in a world where everything is kind of gray, well, I don't know, you don't know. Actually, I've been ridiculed on this channel for not advocating violence. People have said, and in one, oh, you know, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. That guy should have turned around and done X, Y, and Z. Here's what I would say to you. I've been in some of the worst violence you can be in all over the world. I've experienced the violence. I've experienced the aftermath of the violence. My hope and prayer every day, going back to mindset, man, I hope I don't need violence today. With that said, when you do, you better be skilled and trained. So before the incident, mindset, the mood, regulating, I could have made it easy because you know what? Here's the reality. Guy cut you off. I felt the blood pressure. I know what it's like. But you just say, hey, you know what? It ain't worth it. You know why? Because it's not. When I'm training organizations, I regularly talk about road rage and I talk about, hey, give up the lane, not your life. There's a tragic story in California. Young mom driving her child to a school and gets into this with a car. The car basically gets behind her, fires a round into the car in LA traffic. It kills her child, all over a road rage. Here's the other point. You don't know who's driving that other car. That driver may be absolutely a felon. He may be mentally ill, he or she. They may be on high on drugs. Folks, in today's world, it's just not worth it. Okay. So before we know, we can make wise decisions not to get caught up into this. And boy, it would have saved them a whole lot of money. Think about what's coming out of this. You got criminal charges that you're going to have to pay big time lawyers to defend against. This is an attempted murder. These are felony charges. Then you have hospital bills because guess what? This was an intentional act. Will your insurance cover it? I don't know. If not, you got a bunch of bills coming. Oh, and then you have to face the civil charges that are going to flow from both sides. So in the event that you had a savings account, buy because of 5 minutes of stupid. So let's talk about during the event. What can we do during a road rage event? Folks, the biggest thing that I can advocate for a road rage is de-escalation. And I know there'll be some, because there are a lot of tough guys that, oh, I'm not going to back down. Wait a minute. There's certain things worth fighting and dying for. And having a stupid road rage incident is not. I believed fighting for my country was worth dying for. I believe fighting to save people's lives as an officer and as an agent was worth dying for. This ain't one of them. So think about it. As a mature man or woman, is it worth it to go into this kind of stuff? So you're in the middle of it. What do? You de-escalate. I'll be honest, I, inadvertently cut somebody off, and the person laid on their horn, and they were giving me the salute, the one finger salute. And it dawned on me, because I started wanting to escalate, but then it dawned on me, this is stupid. It was my fault. So I rolled down the window and I smiled. I said, I'm sorry. And the driver immediately went from, oh, it's cool, man. So maybe de-escalation is the best path. Now, if you get into a situation where it's more than just road rage, somebody's pursuing you on an interstate, that's when you want to think about trying to stay to the right. If they'll pass you, they'll pass you. Hopefully they won't try to stop you. If they do, you got a lot of room to navigate. But then especially if they're trying to follow you, get on the phone, activate 911, let them know your location, and then look as quickly as you can. If they're in front of you, wait till you get just before an exit and quick right turn, get off, because it's simply not worth it today. So during, we're going to keep calm. We're going to be very concentrated on getting away from the situation. Now, if you're armed, you're going to tend to want to escalate it. It's not worth it. If you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can't, be trained, fit, and prepared to do what you have to do. So during, we're going to stay calm and controlled and calculated. Then after the event, well, if you do stupid like these two did, you ain't got much to say after the event. Police are going to tell you what's going to happen after the event. But let's say that you are able to de-escalate. Let's say that there were some issues at hand. Folks, whenever you can, record what you can. Also engage 911 as quickly as you can, so that you've got an ongoing capturing of what's happening, what you're trying to do. You're taking direction from law enforcement through the Emergency Operations Center. And you basically need to capture as much information, because that person that's stalking or hunting or road raging you, it's likely they're going to do it to somebody else. And unfortunately, we're seeing these kinds of incidents fueled by more and more drug abuse or mental health issues. So after the incident, we're going to want to be composed. We're going to want to remain calm. And then we're going to want to connect as much information as we possibly can, so that law enforcement may be able to stop, someone else from having to be victimized or going through this. So, folks, I hope this is helpful for you. This one you probably could tell, this one is like, are you kidding me? Those two precious kids, I wonder what their wives think about their brilliant husbands doing what they did. I know mine wouldn't be excited. So here's what I'm going to ask you, friends. As you know, this channel, I'm trying to get out as much as I can to help Americans. Folks, there's a storm coming. Everyone that's listening needs to be prepared. You need to have a stockpile of food. You need to have the ability to have clean water. You need to have the ability to have a secure home. And you need to have the ability to defend it yourself and your family. And so, folks, we're trying to get the word out as much as I can. I promise you, everything I'm sharing with you comes from years of training and experience. I'm not just talking to talk. And I hope it's helpful. So can you do me a favor, please? Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm being told that people are being unsubscribed from my channel, and I noticed my followership goes down. I need you to go the other way. I need you to share with everybody that you know, because here's what I know. We've been training a lot of people recently. We do the 3-day family protection weekend trainings. I do a lot of corporate and church training. Everybody's sensing things are changing in our country drastically. And now is the time to prepare. So I hope this is helpful. Love your comments. I know there are a lot of smarter people out there than me. Thank you for our veterans and our police officers for, holding the line. It's a different world from when I was doing it. But God bless you. Stay safe. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, and comment so that we can help as many people stay safe in this crazy world as we can. So God bless you. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.